Welcome to our 2023 Route 66 California road trip. This video will be hosted by Angel and Beth. I hope you enjoy our harebrained idea of a summer trip on the hottest summer on the earth. Enjoy. So we will be starting our 2023 Route 66 California road trip on Sunday. Our first destination will be Memphis, Tennessee. We're planning to leave at 6 a.m. and stop between here and there and get some breakfast. The next few slides will be of our trip itinerary and guesstimations of where we're going. Some places may get skipped. And we'll just pause for a second so that you can read what's on the screen. Like I said, Memphis, Tennessee, Arkansas, Oklahoma City is the first day. Day 2, we will be leaving out in Oklahoma City and exploring around there. You'll see on the Oklahoma City page. And we're headed into Texas and right over the border into New Mexico for the day 2. This is just a few of the stops that we have planned for Arizona. As the production here goes on through the video, it will be more entailed, but this is just a small idea of the itinerary. As you can see, we have a lot of stops planned for Arizona. It's going to take more than just a day, and then we're going to go into Nevada and then back to Arizona again for the night, and eventually we'll make our way over into California. Obviously, we will be ending our portion of the Route 66 trip in California, and we will be visiting one of our friends there. So, and after California, we are going to go into Tijuana, Mexico, and then the return trip, which is completely different. Stop 1, Memphis, Tennessee. In Memphis, Tennessee, it is our plan to stop at the historic site of the Lorraine Motel and the Civil Rights Museum and visit the location of the assassination of Dr. Martin Luther King. The Civil Rights Museum is world-renowned and a centerpiece of the civil rights movement. It's very important and very educational. It is noted as one of the nation's premier heritage and cultural museums. The National Civil Rights Museum in Memphis, Tennessee is steadfast in its mission to share the culture and lessons from the American Civil Rights Movement and explore how this significant era continues to shape equality and freedom globally. Our second stop in Memphis will be at Sun Studios. It is a famous recording location for many well-known artists from the past. It's going to be a great photo opportunity, especially for Coven, since he is big into music. Elvis Presley recorded at Sun Studios in Memphis, Tennessee. It is the birthplace of rock and roll and is famous for legendary artists such as Elvis Presley, B.B. King, Johnny Cash, Ike Turner, Howlin' Wolf, and Jerry Lee Lewis. The studio does 45-minute guided tours from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. A guided tour is $15 for adults, $13 for kids, and $10 for kids ages 5 to 11. After daytime operations and the studio's closed for the day, they actually do still rent out the studio at $200 an hour for recording purposes. Stop number 3, you can't go to Memphis without going by and seeing Graceland. There are way too many Elvis Presley fans not to stop and just look. We're probably just going to get a short photo op at the gates of Graceland because tickets are ridiculous. $28 for a basic tour and $215 each to see the whole thing. So not really big Elvis fans. That's not our generation. It's not our music. So just a quick photo op at the gates of Graceland just to say, hey, we were there one time. After Memphis, we will trek on over to Arkansas, probably around 12 o'clock. And the travel time is like maybe 2 hours to get to where we're going in Arkansas. Our main destination is Little Rock, Arkansas, where we plan to visit Little Rock Central High School. If you've ever read the book Warriors Don't Cry, you'll understand the meaning of this historic location. If you've not read the book Warriors Don't Cry, you might want to go and find it and read it. If you're nearby, I have a copy in my bookshelf. I don't care to lend out. But the mob rule cannot be allowed to override the decisions of our courts. That's something that we were supposed to learn in 1957. But apparently, we've not learned that yet. In 1957, Little Rock Central High School was the epicenter of confrontation and a catalyst for change as the fundamental test for the United States to enforce African American civil rights following Brown versus Board of Education. Here we will learn how the sacrifices and struggles endured by the Little Rock Nine have provided opportunities and open doors for those seeking equality and education around the world. The very sad thing in our current American history is the fact that the Supreme Court has overruled the affirmative action, and it's going to put us back 70 years. The fact that without affirmative action, these kids never would have been able to go to school. How is it fair to limit education to children based on the color of their skin or the language that they speak? And that's where we're headed back to because of this biased Supreme Court that is MAGA-led and is just grossly abusing their power. This right here is a snapshot of the Little Rock Nine. And once again, I emphasize, if you have not read Warriors Don't Cry, go get it. Read it today. These young teenagers in 1957 changed the world in the harshest conditions thinkable. The fight for integration was a very serious thing, and in the coming history that we're fixing to face with the loss of affirmative action, it's not just going to be integrated schools and for people of color, for the BIPOC community. At this point, LGBTQIA rights are being obliterated because of the Supreme Court. And, it's not fair to separate people the way that they're doing. These are a few pictures of the Little Rock Nine just trying to go to school. Just 15, 16-year-olds trying to go to school and get an education, where their own state governor and their community wanted to prohibit their ability to learn English. 3 years after Brown versus the Board of Education, Little Rock Central High School became the epicenter of direct challenge to the federal authority and enforcement not seen since post-Civil War Reconstruction, or in the South, what we call the Jim Crow South. In September of 1957, angry mobs, the governor of Arkansas, and the Arkansas National Guard blocked 2 attempts by African American students to enter and integrate the school. Later dubbed by the media as the Little Rock Nine, this group of students succeeded in their 3rd attempt. They entered classes on September 25th of 1957, escorted by the 101 1st Airborne, which had been ordered by President Dwight D. Eisenhower to enforce the ruling and prevent interference with court orders of integration. One of the main players of the Little Rock Nine was a 15-year-old girl named Elizabeth Eckford. She received some of the most harsh ridicule and abuse from her community, from the public, from public officials. It's It's absolutely disgusting to think that a 15-year-old kid could be hurt in the way that she was hurt. Um, Elizabeth Eckford rode a bus to Central. She approached the school just before 8 a.m. and saw the soldiers of the Arkansas National Guard surrounding the school. Barred by the soldiers in several failed attempts to be allowed past their ranks, Elizabeth found herself in the throes of an angry mob of protesters, numbering over 300 plus, on Park Street. Chants, people chanting, 2468, we don't want to integrate. Racial epitaphs, terroristic threats, and spit descended down on a 15-year-old student as she attempted to make her way to the end of Park Street, where she believed would be safe, and where safety awaited her and another bus stop and bench. After arriving at the bus stop, Elizabeth waited 35 minutes. In the interim, she was denied entrance into the Ponders drugstore and supported by Benjamin Fine and Grace Lorch. I hope I've pronounced the names right. There's a memorial bench to Elizabeth here, and it's a space for reflection and a place to remember the nonviolent demonstration by the 15-year-old girl in the face of surrounding violence. Picture below is the service station and a commemorative garden for the Little Rock Nine. The service station was one of the few businesses in the immediate neighborhood that had a payphone on site. During the early days of desegregation crisis, when reporters from all over the state, nation, and world covered the Little Rock Nine, many phoned in the reports from this station. The press included a number of local and international reporters from magazines and newspapers such as the New York Times, Life Magazine, Look, the Arkansas Gazette, Arkansas Democrat, the Arkansas State Press, Der Spiegel, a German periodical, the Chicago Defender, and the Baltimore African American. At the commemorative garden, which is adjacent to both the Visitor Center and South Park Street and the north side of Little Rock Central High School, documents a photographic history inlaid on brick and concrete arches as a reminder of the bravery of the Little Rock Nine and the legacy of Central High School. Within this space, the 9 benches and 9 trees provide seating and shade for a visitor to sit and reflect in this tranquil landscape. Also nearby, we will see Daisy and Elsie Bates' home. It is of national significance for its role in the de facto command post during the Central High desegregation crisis in Little Rock, Arkansas. The original school of the Little Rock Nine was Lawrence Dunbar High School, built in 1929 in Little Rock. It was the most modern and complete high school constructed for African Americans in the state. It became known as the finest high school for Negro boys and girls in Arkansas. The word Negro makes me sick, and I can't stand it. Also in the park, there are testament statues, and they're set of bronze statues representing each member of the Little Rock Nine in 1957. It is the first monument honoring the civil rights movement on the grounds of a southern U.S. state capitol. After a day of proper education on the civil rights movement and some of its heroes, we will be traveling into Oklahoma City to visit with one of my colleagues. While in Oklahoma City, our first destination will be to see the pirate archaeologist, Christopher Blosser, and we will, on the next day, we will visit several other monuments to American history in Oklahoma City, and we will hop on to Route 66. Our first stop will be to see my colleague and friend, the pirate archaeologist, Christopher Blosser. You can find his YouTube channel under The Pirate Archaeologist 688 on YouTube. He has several wonderful informational videos about ocean archaeology. Very intelligent and very interesting things to listen to. After a special event that we have planned in Oklahoma City, the next day we will get up and we will visit the National Cowboy and Western Heritage Museum. It's America's premier institution for Western history. It has several beautiful sculptures, and if you've ever watched 8 Seconds, there is a memorial to Lane inside the museum. In my opinion, a very important stop to make in Oklahoma City would be the Oklahoma City National Memorial, where on April 19th, 1995, Timothy McVeigh parked a Ryder rental truck filled with explosives in front of the Alfred P. Murrah, I don't know how to say that, federal building. The resulting explosion killed 168 people and destroyed the entire north face of the building. The field of empty chairs is 168 empty chairs handcrafted from glass, bronze, and stone, and represent those that lost their lives. With the name etched in the glass base of each chair, they sit in the site where the Murrah building once stood. The chairs are arranged in 9 rows to symbolize the 9 floors of the building. Each person's chair is on the row or the floor on which the person worked or would have been located when the bomb went off. This is a true domestic act of terrorism. On this slide, you can see the pictures of the victims that died. I don't think they're all pictured on this side, but something very important to remember is that Timothy McVeigh, when he blew up this federal building, he blew up a daycare full of babies, full of infants, full of toddlers, of the people that worked in that federal building. They got up and they went to work like they were supposed to. This is what is happening still in our country today with domestic terrorists in the United States. Domestic terrorism is not a joke, but it just seems to be sliding right under this Supreme Court, this fake Supreme Court that we have. Our next stop will be at the Centennial Land Run Monument, another prime example of white colonization and the oppression of BIPOC and people of color. Not just people of color, but First Nation people. The Oklahoma Land Run of 1889 was the first land run into the unassigned lands of former Indian Territory, which had earlier been assigned to the Creek and Seminole peoples. The area that was opened to settle included parts of Canadian Cleveland, Kingfisher, Logan, Oklahoma, Payne counties, and the present U.S. state of Oklahoma. The land run started on April 22nd at high noon. An estimated 50,000 people were lined up at the start, seeking to gain a piece of the available 2 million acres. If you've ever seen the movie Far and Away, this is the land run from Far and Away. The unassigned lands were considered some of the best unoccupied public land in the United States. The Indian Appropriations Act of 1889 was passed and signed into law with an amendment by Representative William McKendry Springer, a Republican of Illinois, that authorized President Benjamin Harrison to open 2 million acres for settlement. President Abraham Lincoln had earlier signed the Homestead Act of 1862, which allowed settlers to claim lots to up to 160 acres, provided they lived on the land and improved it. This is just another great example of white colonialism, the stealing of First Nation people land, and then the United States government totally disrespecting that the First Nation are the First Nation of this nation, and just taking advantage of it, of their land and their culture and their heritage. Skelly Bones! As an anthropologist, I can never pass up an opportunity to see bones and rocks and anything else that aligns with my anthropological heart. Um, this is a museum in Oklahoma City that is one of a kind. It is the Museum of Osteology. It is the only museum of its kind in the nation that displays only skeletons and has no other form of exhibits. It is a privately owned collection. It's open to the public for educational purposes. This museum has bones of all different kinds. Hanging from the ceiling is a huge skeleton of a whale. I'm way too excited to see this exhibit. As we are entering Route 66, we will stop by this lovely, beautiful gas station. And of course, with a big neon sculpture outside, it can't be just a gas station, right? This is going to be one of Finn's favorite stops because that boy can put away the soda. This is the Pop 66 Soda Ranch. It is a landmark diner and gas station with hundreds of sodas and a shop and a 66-foot tall soda bottle out front. You're not going to be able to leave this place thirsty. From Oklahoma City, we will drive Route 66 into Texas. Route 66 through Texas. Route 66 runs directly across the Texas Panhandle, parallel to I-40. The drive is peaceful and solitary, punctuated by rising grain silos that jut out of the horizon and tiny towns set in the middle of nowhere. Not going to miss the Art Deco marvel Tower Station, and you drop in Shamrock. In Groom, we'll get pictures of the leaning water tower before continuing west to Amarillo, where the famed Cadillac Ranch shows off 10 vintage caddies buried nose deep in a field. A slice of pie at the Midpoint Cafe in Adrian will mark the halfway point of this road trip and is a must-do.
Well, I'll be dog. Is that there Lightning McQueen and Tow Mater?
Why, yes, it is, Beth. This is from Cars, or what my kids always called it, Lightning McQueen. This is the Conoco Tower Station, and then you drop in. It was built in 1936 in Shamrock, Texas, along the historic Route 66 highway in Wheeler County. It is inspired by an image of a nail stuck in the soil. The building was designed by J.C. Berry, and it lies at 111 U.S. Route 66 in Shamrock, Texas.
Hey, Angel, is that there tower crooked?
Well, yes, Beth, it is crooked and on purpose. This is the Leaning Water Tower of Britain. The Leaning Tower of Britain is Leaning Water Tower, which serves as a roadside attraction and decorative item along historic Route 66 in Groom, Texas. Sometimes called the Leaning Tower of Texas, the tower was originally a functioning water tower, which was slated for demolition, until Ralph Britton purchased it and moved it to serve as an advertisement for his truck stop and tourist information center. The Leaning Tower truck stop closed in the mid-1980s after it was damaged by an electrical fire. A small remaining portion operates as a local truck repair shop. Deliberately means on purpose, leaning at roughly 10 degrees angle, the tower is a popular tourist destination, and there's actually a small gravel road on the site for parking and taking pictures.
Hey, I think I know this place. My friend Trevor Alexander just went mudding here.
You know this place because it's a very popular place to stop and take pictures, spray paint initials, write Beth Loves Coven and John Deere Green at the Cadillac Ranch. It's a public art installation and sculpture in Amarillo, Texas. It was created in 1974 by Chip Lord, Hudson Marquez, and Doug Michaels. who are a part of the art group Ant Farm. The installation consists of 10 Cadillacs buried nose first in the ground. Its address is 1365 1 I-40 Frontage Road, Amarillo, Texas. And we can't wait to leave our mark there.
Hey, didn't you say this is a place for pie? And I don't mean mathematics.
Yes, I don't mean mathematics either. What kind of pie would you get here? What would be the kind of pie you like?
Coconut cream.
Oh, I hope they have something sugar-free. I would love to have sugar-free pecan pie. This is the Midpoint Cafe. It is the halfway point from the beginning of Route 66 in Illinois or California, whichever way you start. It is the midway point, and that means we're going to be halfway there. There is a great photo opportunity coming up. At the Midpoint Cafe on Route 66, there is actually a line painted in the middle of the road where lots of travelers stop and have their picture made laying in the middle of the road. One of the mottos at the Midpoint Cafe is, no matter which flag you live under, you're welcome to America and Route 66. On this photo op, hopefully there won't be traffic because I would hate to have one of my kids run over. But my biggest fear is the temperature of the pavement as the earth is going through a global heating crisis. And Route 66 is also part of that victim.
Spooky, spooky.
As a tribute to Beth's mom, who absolutely loves ghost hunting and ghost watching, as you know, we learned in Florida. Directly on the Texas-New Mexico border at Exit 0 is an abandoned ghost town of Glenarrow. The town site still has noticeable traces of Route 66 and the motels and restaurants that used to thrive there before the arrival of Interstate 40. Just west of Glenarrow, Route 66 bridges are still visible to the alert I-40 traveler. Well, if you're still with us, we have made it to the great state of New Mexico. Yeah, this isn't our travel itinerary, just a map. Enjoy. While on Route 66, traveling through New Mexico, we'll have several stops. It's going to be a pretty long day and a pretty festive day for all of us, but especially for Coven and Finn, because they are very, very, very excited about Albuquerque, New Mexico. Okay, in New Mexico, Route 66 has tons and tons of great photo opportunities, so you can expect to see a lot of photos from New Mexico. Vintage signs, sculptures, murals, sunsets. We're very excited about getting to the desert. As we will be entering New Mexico in the dark, we will be spending the night at this beautiful place called Tucumcari, New Mexico. Tucumcari, New Mexico is home to over 50 murals just in the town. It is the largest city between Amarillo, Texas and Albuquerque. It has the beautiful sight of the Painted Mountains, famous vintage neon signs. There are, again here, replicas of cars from the movie Cars. If you can see, we're going to find tomato everywhere. But something that interests me the most about this town is the community college there. It's called Mesa Lands Community College. They have a fantastic paleontology and archaeology anthropology program where the paleontology students begin digging for fossils and historic bones on private dig sites in their very first year. That, to me, is absolutely amazing because that means that they learn hands-on the importance of preservation and time when it comes to finding relics of the past. The finds are displayed in their renowned Mesaland Community College Dinosaur Museum on Route 66. Field research conducted by the students enrolled at the college natural science classes has to date unearthed 3 previously unknown life species from our own Quay County. The county is home to one of the Earth's greatest fossil beds. Can you imagine being a first-year anthropology, archaeology, paleontology student and touching 10-million-year-old dinosaur bones? How absolutely exciting. Once again, anthropologists can't leave alone the bones. Something I forgot to mention about the Mesalands Community College is that around where we live, the community colleges have baseball teams, golf teams. Sometimes you might find a junior college with a football team, but the Mesalands Community College has a rodeo team, and they have a fantastic tech program where tech students are learning to build windmills for windmill farms to create wind energy to help preserve what's left of our dying planet. Here, we intend to stay here at this beautiful Days Inn. Look at that beautiful parking lot. Maybe we'll get some well-deserved rest in the air conditioner.
Is this a mirage?
No, it's the Blue Hole at Santa Rosa, New Mexico. The Blue Hole appears in the midst of the desert like a great blue gem. Once known as Blue Lake, it is one of the 7 sister lakes connected underground by a vast system of water. This wonder defies Santa Rosa even as it seems to defy the surrounding Red Mesa. Born of a geological phenomenon called the Santa Rosa Sink, the place is magic, as water is always is in a land of little rain. Nomadic tribes, cowboys driving their doggies across the Pecos, and an American going west on the Mother Road, Route 66, all sought respite here. Visibly, it is an astonishing 100 feet due to the fact that the water completely renews itself every 6 hours. It truly never is the same lake twice. What doesn't change is the temperature is a constant 62 degrees. I can't wait to jump in this Blue Hole because it is actually a swimming area, a picnic area. So we intend to have a picnic lunch here and eat some good old Alabama bologna sandwich after a quick swim in the Blue Hole. But there is a jumping off point there, and there's also a place, because the water is 100 feet deep, there's also an area for scuba diving and snorkeling in the Blue Hole. So it's so deep that there's a place where you can just jump straight off the rocks into the water. How about that, Beth?
California, dude.
Oh my God, she's a Ninja Turtle. After the Blue Hole, we will head to Albuquerque because, you know, this is a wonderful trip that we're going to have lots of pictures. Probably need to take a shower. We're going to head over to Planet Fitness in Albuquerque and take a shower, do our hair and makeup, because this trip is fixing to be very, very fun for these kids. The whole entire reason for stopping in Albuquerque, New Mexico is the one, the only Breaking Bad. These kids have been looking for the blue stuff for a while. They can't find that blue stuff in Marshall County because, you know, it's all tainted and whatnot here. LOL, just kidding. At the Albuquerque Convention Center, a permanent bronze statue of who, Beth? Who are they? Come on.
Jesse Pinkman and Walter Watt.
Yes. Are better known as
Heisenberg.
So we are headed over to the convention center first thing while we're nice and freshened up from Planet Fitness, to get pictures with Heisenberg and Jesse Pinkman. Okay, so Albuquerque is full of Breaking Bad references and scenes um, where that you can visit, the sets where you can visit where several scenes took place. There are actually RV tours, Breaking Bad RV tours, or you get to ride in the RV and they take you around and see all the sights. As we don't have time for that, nor the money, we'll be doing our own little guided tour. We're going to go over and um, eat at either Pollos Hermanos or the Doghouse. I prefer eating at the Doghouse because, come on, hot dog is for every day. But Los Pollos Hermanos is actually in a building called Twisters, but they still have the signs up so that there's great photo opportunities. It brings people in. But I'm very excited to eat me a hot dog outside the Doghouse. Part of our cross country journey is also stopping at national monuments and national parks. We have this passport book that tells every national park and national monument across the country. We got it at, where did we get it?
Little River Canyon.
Little River Canyon, Fort Payne. And every stop that you make that has a welcome center or that has a an office, you can stop and have your passport book stamped with the local stamp there. This is a national monument, so it's just something that we get to see. It's treasured and protected by the United States government. It's called El Malpais National Monument, and surely we are not going to miss it. This area of the Southwest was nicknamed the Badlands by Spanish explorers as they detoured around forbidding and unrelenting flow of basalt. El Malpais is home to one of the most complete sequences of lava flows in the country. Preserved within its harsh yet starkly beautiful landscape are many lava tube cave systems, cinder cones, spatter cones, and other intriguing volcanic features. Exploring this surreal region can be done via scenic drives, overlooks, and short trails. For a more immersive experience in the volcanic mysteries of El Malpais, rugged backcountry, and lava tubes are yours to explore. This is another national monument that I'm sure can't be missed. This is El Morro National Monument. El Morro National Monument weaves a colorful tapestry of history of New Mexico. Hundreds of petroglyphs bear witness to the lives of ancestral Pueblos. Archaic Spanish inscriptions proclaim, Paso por aquí, I passed by here. Other inscriptions mark the journey of early American pioneers, Western immigrants, soldiers, and railroad surveyors. As we've left Albuquerque and we're continuing our drive west on Route 66, we will cross the Continental Divide on the western side of the country. The divide is enclosed on the south by the Zuni Mountains and the north by the high sandstone cliffs that mark the southern end of the Colorado Plateau, with Powell Mountain very close by to the divide. The water falling on the eastern flank of the divide will run east and empty into the Rio San Jose River, and via Rio Puerto reach the Rio Grande, and eventually into the Gulf of Mexico and onto the Atlantic. The water that falls on the western slope will run west along the Rio Puerto of the west, and then the Little Colorado River to the Colorado River, and all along until it empties into the Pacific Ocean.
Hey, do you think if we stay here long enough, we can get split personalities?
I feel like that we may already have some kind of split personality disorder between the four of us, especially, sarcastic and then the educated part of us. But anyway, the Continental Divide is going to have some great photo ops right here, and you can actually stand in the middle of the divide and be divided. But I want to be united.
Welcome to Arizona, where COVID reaches level 18.
First of all, do not freak out. Don't freak out because it's okay. It's going to be fine because we're entering Arizona in the dark at well past most of y'all's bedtime, 10 o'clock. But we will be spending the night car camping at the Painted Cliffs Welcome Center. Here's the address, and if you need us to, we'll send you our location. Here in Arizona, we're going to see lots of great, wonderful, beautiful things, like the Petrified Forest. We're going to go to Holbrook and Joseph. We eventually will be standing on the corner in Winslow, Arizona. I don't sing, so don't come at me. We'll see the Meteor Crater or the Bering Crater and spend almost a whole day at the Grand Canyon, going down to Williams, and we are going to go and visit Fred Flintstone. Okay, one of our very first things that we will see here in the great state of Arizona will be the Petrified Forest National Park. We will be able to get our passport books stamped here, maybe in 2 separate locations. I'm not sure because they usually do it only at like the visitor centers. But the Petrified Forest National Park is nature, geology, archaeology, paleontology, and even architecture meet at this high desert park, stretching for miles on both sides of Interstate 40 and located near the town of Holbrook in northern Arizona. Petrified Forest National Park is a high desert geologic treasure chest. We'll see loads of petrified wood, eye-popping views of the Painted Desert, which sweeps through the park. There are 2 visitor centers, the Painted Desert Visitor Center on the north and the Rainbow Forest Museum to the south, which offers exhibits, books, and gifts, limited food service, and restrooms. Both sides of the park are connected by the 28-mile-long main park road, which winds past viewpoints, trailheads, and other attractions. We are going to take the opportunity to take as many pictures here as possible because this could never be man-made. The great creator of all things made this special for the First Nation people. And it is one of the wonders of this country that has not been destroyed for capitalism.
Angel, it's a rainbow out there. And you know how we feel about the rainbow.
Girl, you know I love the rainbow. And I don't mean Noah's rainbow. But anyway, I'm so excited to see these colors. And I hope we have a clear day. And I hope the camera participates because it's so hard to get daylight pictures sometimes. I'm so excited.
The next stop is Holbrook, Arizona. As we make our way through Holbrook, we will be stopping in at the Wigwam Motels, where we will not be staying the night because we cannot afford it. But there are several picture opportunities with some of the characters from Cars, such as Doc.
According to the Route 66 Mother Road website, Holbrook is a city steeped in Native American culture, Hispanic roots, and pioneers from all walks of life. This city is located in Navajo County. It has a population of about 5,000 residents. Nearby are the beautiful Painted Desert and Petrified National Park, about 18 miles to the east. For those with an interest in geology, like us, because we totally love rocks, Jim Gray's Petrified Wood Company is a fun stop. The Navajo County Historical Museum is well worth a visit as well. And don't miss the
Dinosaurs.
at the Rainbow Rock Shop and the teepees at the Wigwam Motel. This is going to be a great place to learn about some of the First Nation people of the Navajo line, and take in the beautiful Southwest.
as we leave Holbrook, Arizona and get on the road to Joseph, Arizona, there's no GPS needed. You just follow that there jackrabbit.
By following the yellow jackrabbit signs, we will end up at the Jackrabbit Trading Post, which is a historical landmark, to take a photo riding the gigantic jackrabbit. In 1949, Jim Taylor bought a building in Arizona on Route 66. On the move here, he had a statue of a black rabbit in the back of a convertible car. Along the way, people kept saying they liked it and took lots of pics of it. So when he got here in Joseph, Arizona, he put it in the ground so people could sit on it and take pictures. That's how the Jackrabbit Trading Post was born. This location also has been handed down throughout the years and is still an original family-owned business. So if you head that way, make sure you stop and tell them thank you for the beautiful photo opportunity. Honestly, I'm not going to torture you with my horrendous singing voice. If you want to hear the song, just ask Google. He'll play it for you. We'll be standing on the corner in Winslow, Arizona. This site opened up in 1999, commemorating the song Take It Easy, which was written by Jackson Browne and Glenn Frey, and most famously recorded by the Eagles. Corner of Kinsley and East 2nd Street, Winslow, Arizona. At the entrance of the city, there is the statue where we'll be taking, our opportunity to stand on the corner in Winslow, Arizona. But there is also a 9/11 Remembrance Garden dedicated to the memory of the victims of 9/11. Well, there are 2 steel beams from the Twin Towers and a flag that was originally placed at the Pentagon. There is also a plaque that explains what it is, and I just think that's a wonderful sentiment out in the desert. Here we'll be visiting another national monument, and as we are rock hounds, we will stop and look at Walnut Canyon National Monument. It is actually one of the monuments that has upgraded to where it is more handicap accessible. There's more wheelchair paths, more paths for people that have limited mobility. So this one is going to be a great place. I'm really excited to be able to, have a level ground to stand on. It has curved canyon walls and remarkable geological formations of the canyon itself. It is former homes of ancient inhabitants, and they're easily evident. Along the trails, you can imagine life within the Walnut Canyon while visiting actual pueblos and walking in the steps of those who came before. And taking expansive views of the canyon and see cliff dwellings from a distance from the visitor center, where it has 2 observation points. Both the indoor and back patio observation areas are accessible. Like I said, it's going to be accessible for, especially for me that has, have limited mobility and I can't climb on rocks. So I thought this is going to be a place that I get to really see better than some of the others.
Yabba dabba doo.
We will be staying here hopefully July 19th. We will be officially camping on these campgrounds. This was once just it was called Bedrock, and it was bought and changed over to another park that is called Raptor Ranch, but they didn't tear down the Flintstone habitats and whatever. We'll be able to visit Fred Flintstone's house, Barney Rubble's house, and the car, and it's got a lot of great statues. And admission's $8 if you don't intend to camp. If you intend to camp, you'll pay for camping, and then admission to the park is free. But the most important special thing about visiting the home of Fred Flintstone is that Coven will wake up in the land of Bedrock, where his great-great-grandpa Fred Flintstone that gave him his yabba-dabba-doo feet, he'll turn 18 years old in Bedrock. As I said, we'll be camping in the tent here at the Raptor Ranch. It's very close to the Grand Canyon. It has 36 RV sites and tent sites. Um, they have free Raptor flight demonstration for the campers, and Bedrock City admission is free when you camp. It also has free Wi-Fi and the lounge. Here we will be doing laundry, as it has a laundry room. It has a grocery store, campfire rings, firewood available. The camp store gift shop, showers, snacks, coffee. Very excited about waking up to a place that has coffee. Overflow parking. Check-in is at 1 p.m. Checkout is 12 p.m. We'll be long gone before checkout because we have a busy, busy, happy birthday to Coven ahead.
Hello, hello, hello.
Welcome to the Grand Canyon. The Grand Canyon is actually what started this whole road trip idea back in February. We were just going to get a plane and blah, 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 or rent a car and blah, blah, blah. But no, it has turned into this massive 2-week or more adventure across the United States and the Southwest. But the Grand Canyon is a national park in northern Arizona. It encompasses 278 miles of the Colorado River and adjacent uplands. Located on the ancestral homeland of 11 associated tribes, the Grand Canyon is one of the most spectacular examples of erosion anywhere in the world. Once again, erosion. Back to geology, back to anthropology class. Let's look at this history. The nerd in me is going wild. Unmatched in the incomparable vista it offers visitors from the rim, entrance fees to the Grand Canyon National Park vehicle permit costs $35. It admits one single private non-commercial vehicle and all its passengers up to a 15-passenger minivan. But in cases where you have an America the Beautiful pass, the cost is different. And a disabled person that has a disabled America the Beautiful pass gets to go in any of the national parks for free. So with my America the Beautiful pass, it'll cost $0 to visit all of these national parks. On our Grand Canyon trip, we will be stopping by Wapatki National Monument. Now, once again, the nerd in me is absolutely insane because this is an anthropological, archaeological site for the ages. Cultural and historical importance. People gathered here during the 1100s, about 100 years after the eruption of the Sunset Crater volcano, gradually building this 100-room pueblo with a community room, a ball court. By 1182, perhaps 85 to 100 people lived at the Wapatki Pueblo, the largest building for at least 50 miles. Within a day's walk is a population of several thousand surrounding Wapatki. What interests me is the comparison of the ball court here, all the way in Arizona, versus, also having a ball court with the Aztecs and the Mayans. It shows that recreation was very important to all of these First Nation people, and if you know about the Mayan culture and the Aztec culture, about the ball courts and how it was used to choose victors or even choose sacrifice. It's just very interesting. This is in Arizona and it has a visible ball court, the same as in the Yucatan or in southern Mexico. Highlights of this: it's a 900-year-old ancestral Puebloan site with over 100 rooms and above-ground cave or community room. A Holcomb-style ball court. It has a geographic feature called a blowhole, where air flows in and out from the ground. Scenic views of the Painted Desert and the surrounding landscapes. Beth is very, very excited about that blowhole. We'll be stopping by another national monument that has a visitor center. It's called the Sunset Crater Volcano National Monument. It is the destruction and rebirth of a landscape. The lava flow lies on the land like a dream, a wonderland of rock. Once again, those rocks. 1,000 years ago, the ground was torn open and lava erupted into the sky, forever changing the landscape and the lives of the people who lived there. 1,000 years later, trees and flowers growing among the rocks, and people visit the lava flow and see and remember the most recent volcanic eruption in Arizona. Our next stop will be in Williams, Arizona, um, where we will also see more and more of the Disney Pixar cars and a few other sites.
Here are some more cars.
Welcome to Siegelman, the birthplace of the historic Route 66. This is the town that inspired Radiator Springs and the Disney Pixar movie Cars. Here you can see Tow Mater and Doc and the little hippie dude. This is a iffy stop if we make it out there because it's a little bit out of the way and we won't be going inside the caverns or anything like that. If we do make it, we're just going to go out here and have a picture made with this wonderful, beautiful T-Rex because you never need to miss an opportunity to get a picture of a dinosaur. In Arizona. We'll be stopping here to drive the car through the neon Route 66 Kingman sign. And, you know, we will also need to see the Giganticus Heticus. It is a 14-foot Easter Island style tiki head that warmly greets visitors along historic Route 66. You'll find it at Andres Visitor Center between Kingman and Siegelman, and hopefully we'll be able to get a few stickers there.
What in the swirly brains are we doing?
Would you just look at that roadkill, Beth? I've done told you to watch out for trees and animals. From Kingman, Arizona, we'll be traveling north on a little side trip because, you know, we're squirrely as can be to see the Las Vegas Strip and its famous attractions and locations, among with other few little fun things. Don't freak out. Just don't. Just don't freak out because we will be car camping more than likely again here at Temple Bar Marina, close to the slowly drying up Lake Mead. It's a scenic rest area where at night there is no electricity, there's no lights, there's no anything, and it's all stars. What a beautiful thing to see when you're so used to seeing city lights all the time. It is close to Lake Mead, but we may or may not camp at Lake Mead. But the scenic parking area, a lot of van campers camp there, and it's got great reviews, and people say it's pretty safe. Well, well, well. Welcome to Nevada, where we'll be stopping by Hoover Dam, taking a way out of the way road trip to Area 51. Shh, don't tell the government. And be returning down to Sin City. An architectural wonder. We will be stopping at the Hoover Dam. I had friends that had a battle at the Hoover Dam a few years back with some preachers. You know, you got to give it to Percy and Annabeth and Grover for surviving, you know, their excursion at the Hoover Dam. They were able to get some damn fries and a damn t-shirt, some damn candy. But you know, Camp Half-Blood, being who we are not the flat earthers kind. We believe in science. We also believe that this rock isn't the only rock that life can exist. We will be traveling down the extraterrestrial highway towards Area 51. There are plenty of things to do near Area 51 in addition to ghost towns and potential alien sightings. A common and popular stop near Area 51 is Rachel, Nevada, which is known as the UFO capital of the world. It is home to less than 60 people because all the rest got abducted. But a trending stop to replenish on road tripping supplies or fuel and fuel up your belly at the Little Alien with some otherworldly treats.
Hookers?
Well, the Las Vegas Strip is our next destination. Because you know what they say, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. Just a few of the microscopic little things that we might see in Sin City. There's a container park. It's called the Container Park anyway. It's a mall. And all of the stores are in like shipping containers. That'd be interesting. You know, of course, we're going to see all of the neon lights and stuff. We'll arrive in Vegas around 6-ish. Just in time to see all the lights light up as the sun goes down. The M&M Museum, where you can have your picture made with all the M&M sculptures and pick out your different favorite M&M colors, the M&M race car, and all of the pretty fountains. I do not think we'll be able to see everything that we want to see, but we'll see some of the things.
Big Sussy Baka.
She's mad because we wanted to go and see Seven Magic Mountains. We're not going to be able to see this because it's something you have to see in the daylight. There's no way to see it in the dark. And because of the timing of being in Vegas, we're going to miss this. But it's worth a mention that we found this as we was planning our trip. It's called Seven Magic Mountains, standing against the desert landscape along Interstate 15. Seven vibrant stacked boulders towers beckon road trippers off the free-range art highway into this open-air gallery for a photo op you won't forget. But the photo op has to be in the daylight. We won't never make it in the dark. Welcome to the Twilight Zone. Wee-oo, 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 where we travel back in time to Arizona. Once again, try not to freak out. Even though, you know, the sun is trying to scorch the earth and there's so much global warming that the rocks are going to be hot. We'll probably cook eggs on the rocks at midnight. But we're going to be arriving at the Haviland Rest area westbound to car camp because it's cheaper than any hotel around. I don't know what that Pepsi machine did to be in so much trouble that it had to be locked up, but apparently it's there may be a little ruckus going on with the vending machines. I don't know. It is a secured sleep area with restrooms and showers and in picnic tables. It's got all of the things where you can, you know, like a truck stop or a rest area. But it is a very clear, vivid warning that this is the habitat of poisonous snakes, scorpions, and tarantulas. So, yeah, Beth probably will just not even get out of the car because of her fear of spiders. I hope to catch a tarantula, you know, and give it to her as a birthday gift.
You better not.
I'm trying. Well, we live in Alabama, and my mama, she was from Alabama, of course, and in Alabama we have certain sayings about roads and how you drive them. Well, my mama said, you know, Adam Sandler, his mama said, well, my mama said, this is a kiss your curve. Well, apparently this is a bunch of those kiss your curves. You know, the word that is another word for donkey. Well, this is called Sittsgreaves Pass. As you climb towards Sittsgreaves Pass, the narrow road makes several hairpin turns and hugs the mountainside, with no shoulder and few guardrails. In the early days of Route 66, when vehicles had little power, The only way up the 3,550-foot grade was sometimes by driving backwards. First of all, Beth is not great in reverse even with a backup camera, so be glad that we don't have to do that anymore. Driving in the lower gear, reversed, solved the problem of the early gravity-fueled systems. Those who weren't so daring would hire a team of horses to pull their Model Ts up the summit. For others, wreckers solely in the area to solve the problem would haul the stranded motorist over the summit, no doubt making a tidy little profit. Some flatlanders, not to be confused with flat earthers, were petrified of the steep incline and winding road. They simply had a local drive their car over the summit. So get ready to have some kiss that donkey curves. I'm making waffles. This, I think Beth may choke. She's laughing so hard because I made her do the donkey sound. The sound of the small town of Oatman is known for the wild burros. I don't know why they call them burros. Burros, they're all the way donkeys. Or asses, just straight old wild asses that roam the streets. Thought to be descendants of the burros used by miners in the late 1800s, these burros have been wandering the streets of this Wild West town ever since, and are even so tame that they can be hand-fed. You can purchase carrots and pellets at many of the shops across town. Just before sunset, the burros like to head back to the hills, only to return the next day to meander around the town. The burro has become such an integral part of Oatman's identity that the town now plays host to an annual burro biscuit toss. Can you guess what a burro biscuit is? Guarantee you don't want gravy on it. Where residents and visitors alike compete to see who can throw a dried out, gold painted burro dropping the farthest. Another neat fact about Oatman, Arizona is it is like a replica town of the Wild West, where they put on they put on like shows with like Wild West cowboys, and it's really neat. If you want to look up Oatman, Arizona, there's a bunch of good videos and pictures on the internet. But Beth, one more time with that donkey sound. She's gonna feed the donkeys.
And love them and kiss them and hug them and take them home with me.
There's no room in the car. Well, Route 66 carries us right into California. Land of the liberals and happy, happy, happy Democrats. In California, we're probably going to stay maybe 2-3 days, maybe longer. Maybe we find a nice voting district to just park there forever and ever. But we'll be visiting Needles, the Mojave Desert, National Preserve, and of course we'll travel down Route 66 to the end of the trail at the Santa Monica Pier. Needles, California is home to Charles Schulz, Charlie Brown, Snoopy, Woodstock, and the whole Peanuts gang. In Needles, there are murals of Spike, Snoopy's cousin, that we'll be looking to see, because Charles Schulz, he has a Peanuts museum, but it's a little further north in California. We won't be going that route. But yeah, we're going to go and look for Snoopy and check out the Peanuts gang in Needles, California. From Needles, we will travel on down the road of Route 66 and take a side trip to the Mojave National Preserve. There is a visitor center where we can get our passport books stamped and take some really pretty pictures. It is home to a lot of desert wildlife, lizards and turtles and snakes and scorpions and spiders. But yeah, it's another national landmark, and it's going to be worth the visit. After we leave the desert, we will head over to Oro Grande, California. to Elmer's Bottle Tree Ranch. Um, Elmer's Bottle Tree Ranch is literally a forest of bottle trees. Large metal pipes with bottles hanging from them located along Route 66, right in the heart of the California desert. Um, Elmer died several years ago, but the people that visit and around the area are doing their best to keep up with the bottle trees because it has become a traveler attraction for all that travel down Route 66. Our next trollop will be through San Bernardino, California. Our friend said that San Bernardino is quite the ghetto these days. But I say, how can it be the ghetto? How can it be bad? If it's the home and the birthplace of Ronald McDonald and Grimace and the Hamburglar. So we will be stopping by to check out the first McDonald's. We're not gonna eat there.
Why? It
Just
says they're
look it.
15 cents.
That's a damn lie. It's a lie. Um, well, our goal, we have a friend that lives in Rialto, California, and so our goal is to reach her house before 9 p.m. Um, and we're going to see the historic Orange. There's another set of TP motels that we can't afford because Jesus H. Roosevelt Cross, they are too expensive.
$300 for 2 nights.
That's just too dang much for a little video TP. So yeah, wait till you see the Rialto Theater. It's going to be beautiful. One of the core reasons for traveling to California on this wonderful Route 66 road trip is to visit with one of Beth's classmates and colleagues that she graduated Troy University with this past May. They both graduated with bachelor's in psychology degrees, and we're very excited to go and see Sarah's house since Sarah came all the way from Rialto to Montgomery and Troy for graduation, and she got to see how ghetto Alabama is. Well, after we find a place to sleep that night, because apparently it's illegal to camp, and Sarah said we can't sleep at her house. She ain't got enough beds. So we'll get up the next day and explore Southern California and finish out our road trip on Route 66. On the way to the end point or the beginning point, depending on where you're starting or going, of Route 66, we will go through Rancho Cucamonga and see the gas station. We'll see the Rialto Bridge, the giant chicken that's on the roof. A lot of Route 66 travelers talk about this chicken, so if they've seen it, I need to see it too. So there's a lot of things to see on the road between Rialto and the Santa Monica Pier. While visiting Southern California and the LA Hollywood area, we intend to do the Hollywood Walk of Fame. I hope I can make it. The Hollywood Funko store, which is just full of Funko Pops and all different, everything you could think of in the Funko Pops is there. Coven is absolutely out of his mind to go and see Capitol Records. The Capitol Records building is made to look like a stack of vinyl records. It's going to be really cool. There is a hot dog place called the Dirty Dog. Get over on Facebook, look them up, check out that Dirty Dog. Oh my God, everything that you could ever want on a hot dog. Oh, I'm so excited. And there is several murals of the dog father, of wonderful, lovely Snoop Dogg, and other places that are along the West Coast that we're going to see right over close by. Recently, Snoop Dogg, for his anniversary of the Dog Father, was given a Jack in the Box, because it's called Jack in the Box there. But that particular Jack in the Box was renamed Dog in the Box. And yeah, there's murals, or there's pictures of Snoop Dogg inside of the Jack in the Box. We got to find that. I don't practice Santeria, and I really don't sing. Sorry about it. Not sorry, too bad, 'cause it's awful. But Finn is very, very excited to go to Long Beach and visit the Sublime Memorial Wall. Sublime is one of his favorites because he practices Santeria. He's got a crystal ball. I'm just kidding. Maybe I'm kidding. You don't know. But yeah, we're going to go to Long Beach and go and do the Sublime Memorial Wall, and there are also murals of other um, artists in the area.
I don't know about you, but I'm feeling 22.
We
I
will.
can't sing.
We're going to wake up to July 24th and Beth's 22nd birthday. This will be a historic day for all of us. We'll start out the day at Chicano Park in San Diego and travel on to. Just kidding. Did you actually think I was going to pass up talking about this amazing Chicano Park and Museum? It is a cultural museum, and it is located outside. It is an outdoor museum, and it's full of murals that track Chicano and Hispanic, which I hate the word Hispanic, but it tracks Mexican culture from the Aztecs to liberation and um, all of the things that make a Mexican American, a Chicano person, who they are. It is very important to me that my children know about their heritage and where they come from and their history, and from the Olmecs to the Chicanos and the Zoot Suits to it's just very important. And this is a museum where they can see their heritage painted on the wall. All of the work at the Chicano Park Museum and Culture Center was done by Chicano artists, and art is very important in everyone's lives.
Okay, I'm gonna make your ears bleed one more time. I don't know about you, but I'm feeling 22.
So, if you hadn't guessed it, Beth, for her 22nd birthday, will be traveling into Mexico via San Isidro into Tijuana. This will be the first time for all of us that we get to travel out of the country. And I would not have picked a better group than Coven and Finn and Beth to cross the border with and continue some shenanigans. Tijuana is a beautiful city filled with wonderful architecture and history and murals and marketplaces and foods. Just really excited to check out Tijuana and celebrate Beth, celebrate her birthday, and see if we can't get her a little tipsy on the beach. So Tijuana is our final destination. Not so much as final destination, but final destination. We will return from Tijuana back up to San Diego and start our trek home. For the trek home, I didn't feel like extra to create a whole visual aid for our itinerary. But, we'll get home when we get home. We're going to have to make several stops, and we'll leave San Diego, and we're going to visit the Saguaro National Park, San Xavier de Blanc Mission. We're going to spend some time in Las Cruces and check out the University of New Mexico, and then we'll probably go on into Juarez, Ciudad Juarez we're going to go over to
Big Ben.
Well, we ain't got the Big Ben yet. Oh, in Las Cruces, we'll be checking out the home of Billy the Kid and prehistoric Trackways National Monument where there's dinosaur tracks. And we'll leave New Mexico, go into Texas, go into El Paso, and from there go into Ciudad Juarez. For El Paso, and we'll go back up through, then we'll go back through Texas and visit the Big Bend National Park. And hopefully this heat will have calmed down just a little bit by now because there's already been a death out there this year. We intend to go to Brownsville and Matamoros, and then up to Corpus Christi to the Selena Museum, go up through Houston, stop by in Orange, Texas, stop by and take our picture with the Texas Star, and be very glad that we are crossing into Louisiana, where Beth is very excited to freak out her grandmother and visit New Orleans because her grandmother said, "Ooh, no, scary, scary." But no, we're going to go and see New Orleans because Beth is all about it. We're going to go check out some Marie Laveau and the Anne Rice memorial that's there because, you know, she's so important to me. And then haul ass through Mississippi, back through Alabama, and be home. But I'm telling you, it'll be almost August, if not August. We'll be here when we get here. Love you, bye.
Bye.